Hello, I'm Sheila MacNeil. I'm a Professor of Tissue Engineering in the University of Sheffield in the UK. Well, I've been privileged to work with Dr. Virender Sangwan in LV Prasad for nearly 6 years now. And the challenge we took on in the cornea is, could we find a way of improving on what they were already doing to make it safer, simpler, so that it could be available to many more patients. And in working with Dr. Sangwan, he found a way to improve how he was doing the surgery for some patients, and we have developed a membrane that will hopefully take the place of the human amniotic membrane. I don't want to get too technical on this, but currently there is a great methodology for treating scarring of the cornea, but it requires that you have excellent surgeons, which you have in Hyderabad, that you have a tissue bank so that you can get human amnion, and also that you have specialist laboratories for culturing cells. And you have to bring all of these three things together to make it work. That does work, but there are very few centers in the world doing this. And we wanted to see if we could simplify things. So in particular, we wanted to simplify, instead of using human amnion, and this is the membrane that surrounds the baby at the time of birth, could we make a synthetic alternative? And we wanted to make the alternative out of something that was well known, a material called PLGA. It's the same material that's used in dissolvable sutures. So to cut a long story short, working with LV Prasad, we have developed this material, and it's now in first stage clinical safety trial in India. In the University of Sheffield, I do a lot of biomaterials and tissue engineering research. I work on soft tissues, skin, oral mucosa, and more recently on the cornea. And my focus is to try and find ways to bring research from the laboratory out into the clinic. So for many years I've worked with burn surgeons, culturing skin cells to treat patients with extensive burns, and also to treat patients with non-healing ulcers, such as diabetic ulcers. I've also worked with urologists, treating patients with scarring of the urethra, and I'm very privileged to have found surgeons I can work with who allow me to tackle some of the problems, work with them to get the research from the lab door, where it may result in papers, but it needs to move from the lab door towards the clinic. And that really is the focus of my research group. Okay, this UK-India Research Links workshop, first of all, it's funded by the British Council and the Royal Society of Chemistry, and it's targeted at younger career researchers. So we have the funding to allow researchers from the UK and India in competition to get places, to come together for 4 days. And really, this funding buys them the luxury of time. So for 4 days, the clinicians can talk to the scientists and explain what their problems are, and the scientists can talk about the technologies they have. And by meeting together and really coming up with research that is aligned to clinical problems, we hope to get good quality research that is clinically relevant and that really makes an impact for India. Well, what we hope to achieve is that this will be a boost to the careers of the younger researchers. It will give them, at an early stage in their career, the appetite for working on clinically relevant problems. Because unfortunately, researchers will quite often develop expertise in a particular area, and they may become great at it and publish wonderful papers, but it doesn't always align to where the clinical needs are. And I would like to get those interactions going early in their career so that they can start to develop relationships, collaborations, grants, and do more research that is clinically relevant, that really makes an impact on patients.